Now let's talk about monopolistic competition in the long run. We said in the short run, it acts somewhat like a monopoly. And what's great about that for you is you won't have separate problems like a chart for monopoly and a chart for monopolistic competition because it's the same. It would be too redundant to have that. So now in the long run, though, remember we have freedom of entry and exit. Or easy entry and exit. And we're going to have the same outcome like we did in perfect competition almost. Now, what I mean by that is in pure competition, we also had easy entry and exit. And if the firms in the market already were making a positive profit, we had more firms come in and they took some of that profit. And if they were making negative profits, some firms exited. And then profits started to rise because of a few different changes. Well, here we're going to see the same thing. So we're going to end up with zero economic profits. Remember, this is like thinking about our opportunity cost as well. So the firms here don't have any reason to leave this market making zero economic profit. They're still making accounting profit. So don't feel bad for these firms, but they can't. But when they're considering their other options, they can't go somewhere else and make more money. So everything would be the same or less than this outcome. So we have zero economic profit, but some other things are going to be happening. The price is going to be greater than the marginal revenue or marginal cost, and price is going to be greater than the minimum average total cost. When both of these were equal, remember we had allocative and productive efficiency. We no longer have that here. So we'd say monopolistic competition is inefficient, just like a monopoly. Going to the next graph. This is the long run for monopolistic competition. As you can see, we have demand, marginal revenue, marginal cost, and average total cost. So I just want to show you how all this looks. We still use marginal cost equal to marginal revenue to get the quantity that the firm is going to produce. So I'll call this Q1 star. And we still go up to the demand curve and look over to the price, so P1 star. However, because the average total cost curve hits our demand curve here, right at the price, that means we're going to have zero economic profit. So because price equaled average total cost, no profit. And one thing that we can also say about this market in the long run, especially talking about this inefficiency possibly, is that price is going to be greater than the minimum average total cost, like I said. So the price in the long run equals average total cost, but not the minimum of that cost. So this point here, I'm going to call this quantity that's associated with it QE or QC, how about? Just for something different. This would be the quantity we would produce if we were perfectly competitive. Because we're not, we produce a little bit less, and we're going to charge a higher price as well. The difference between the amount that we're actually producing and that this QC, what we would be producing in a perfectly competitive market, is known as this excess capacity. So we would figure out this excess capacity by QC minus Q1, and it's going to give us, positive quantity because QC is a larger quantity. And this is just a measurement of this inefficiency. We're producing less output than a purely competitive market would produce. Now, is inefficiency always a bad thing? Well, let's think about this in the case of genes. If the gene market that we know now changes to a perfectly competitive market, we have efficiency, but what we don't have is that product differentiation. We would all be wearing the same pair of jeans as each other, as our parents, as our grandparents. We wouldn't look any different and our jeans would fit the same way. Now, that might seem very strict, but that's what the idea is. In purely competitive markets, we have the same product. So we do lose some efficiency and we have this excess capacity in monopolistic, but what we also get is this product differentiation. And a lot of times we think that it's worth this differentiation to have this little efficiency loss, but to get products that we like and that we want to wear compared to just the same thing everyone else is wearing, right? So these differences are allow us just to have better products that fit ourselves versus everyone. And that's really all you need to know for monopolistically competitive markets. So the next video I'm going to do is on oligopoly next.